Welcome back to Lost Legacies. I'm Matt.
I'm Sam.
Happy New Year, Sam.
Happy New Year.
Technically, for our listeners, you're like deep into 2022 right now, but this is our first episode actually recording in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
So, Happy New Year. We made it.
Yeah, we made it.
Yeah, man. So what's new? We're not even halfway through January. What's new since our last recording? We took a couple of weeks off between episodes, so like I feel like I'm forgetting stuff. I'm hoping I'm recording this episode right. What do you how was your holidays?
It was good. Very chill, very low key. Still not finished with Witcher season 2. We have like one more episode to go, but
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah. The Expanse still not done.
We got one episode left. As of recording this, we have one final episode.
I'm not ready.
Me too. There's no way they can wrap it up in one episode.
No, unless it's like 3 hours long.
I have no idea what they're doing. Like, it definitely seems like it's building towards a finale, but there's so many loose ends to tie up. I don't know how they're gonna. They got
my secret hope is that like they drop the episode and it's like cool, and then it like ends on a cliffhanger, and then they like throw up the teaser of like, you know, coming in like 2 weeks or something like that, like the final 4 episodes. It's like, why we're getting a full season after all? Oh my god. Yeah, I have different hopes, because one of them would be that we just end up getting like movies, but you know.
Yeah, I'm curious. Like, I wonder if they would do it as movies, because that would be a lot less screen time. I think best case scenario is they found like someone else to distribute. Like, I don't know. It's also weird how Amazon was they were down for the Expanse. So I don't know why that relationship would end right now.
Yeah.
Before the story's over.
Yeah.
What I'm afraid is going to happen is I don't think it's the end. The way they've kind of announced it and the way the story's playing, like, I don't think this is going to be the last we see of this franchise of The Expanse. What I'm afraid is going to happen is that it's going to go off the air and they're just going to have radio silence for a long time. And then they'll surprise us with like more seasons or something.
Yeah.
It's if it ends or appears to end in this next episode, I think you're going to have a lot of heartbroken fans, because this season's great. I love it, but it is very rushed. Not as far as quality, but just the fact that it's such a short season. And we know the reason for that is COVID. You know, it definitely feels like we're being robbed of something we love. And they're just giving us a badass 6 episodes just because that's what they could give us.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know. We'll see. I do have maybe, you know, kind of spoiler alert, kind of not. I haven't read the books, but I do know that there's a time jump in the series. So I'm wondering, like, would they actually wait that long? How nuts would that be if they came back decades from now,
right,
to do more seasons?
Not gonna lie, I'd be upset. I'd be like, guys, I don't know if I'm gonna make it. Yeah,
but you see, but that's the thing. They wouldn't tell us about it.
Yeah,
that's the thing. So that's what I'm afraid is going to happen. They're just going to let us think it's canceled, and they're going to be working on it in secret. It's like, no, just keep us in the loop, man. That's all. Just give us hope. That's what we want in this crazy, messed up world. And with this series, like, just give us hope.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
I think it's more than likely they wouldn't wait like the full time. They'll like cut down the time jump just to realistically be able to do the show with the same cast and everything.
Yeah.
So
maybe like 17 years.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. That's long enough. I feel like
just age them up with some makeup and stuff.
Yeah. They'll already be, you know, looking a little bit older, you know, like, yeah,
Yeah.
It's fine.
I think we all look a little older after these last 2 years.
I know. I know.
Um,
Speaking of which, time marches on, and dear listeners, I went through quite a change over the holiday. I turned 30.
oh man.
I turned 30.
What kind of ancient grains of wisdom do you now have that you can share with us?
Forgiveness is divine, but never pay full price for late pizza.
Is that from Ninja Turtles?
Hell yeah, that's from Ninja Turtles.
The wisest of the wise. Oh man. Let me see. What have I been? What man? It's been a minute. We finished Hawkeye.
Oh yeah.
Which I think all in all, it was a pretty good show. I mean, it's the weakest of the new Marvel Disney Plus shows. But I still say it was probably the most fun. Well, maybe not the most fun, but it was fun-ish. Like WandaVision. WandaVision wasn't really a fun show, but you're still glued to your TV or laptop or whatever, I enjoyed Hawkeye more than Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I felt like Falcon and the Winter Soldier was a stronger show, though, more quality, just better writing and stuff. But yeah, man, I would look forward to a Hawkeye season 2. I think they should retire the Hawkeye character, give it to Kate Bishop, because as much as I enjoyed Jeremy Renner in this show, I think he was kind of holding it back.
Yeah.
From Haley Steinfeld. Like she took over so much. Like she stole every scene. Just give her the damn show. So we don't need the mentor thing anymore. Let Hawkeye be happy with his family. But yeah, so that's what I would love for a future season of Hawkeye. I too haven't finished The Witcher. I have 3 episodes left, I think. I'm loving it, dude. I don't know about you. I'm really digging season 2 of The Witcher. That's kind of about it. I started rewatching The Nevers just today because a coworker of mine said that she was going to watch it. I was like, oh yes, so we can talk about it. And I'm loving this rewatch even more than I love the first go around. Yeah, in fact, I even had to change up my top 10 list from our Christmas episode.
What?
Yeah. I posted it on Instagram, guys, at Holy Hand Grenade of Antioch. You'll see my top 10 list. I actually bumped Loki further down the list.
What?
Yep. I bumped up The Nevers and Only Murders in the Building. Because like afterwards, I edited the episodes and then I started like listening to soundtracks and I started like going back and watching some of this. I'm like, dude, Loki was one of those shows where like I don't think I watched it week to week. I think every now and then like I skipped a week and then I would have like 2 episodes to catch up on, something like that.
Could you?
But The Nevers and Only Murders in the Building, like every week I had to. I couldn't miss a single episode. And I was like, wow, that really pulled me in. Even The Expanse this season. I think it comes out on Thursdays or Fridays. I usually don't end up watching it till like the following Monday or something, just because whatever else is going on. Like, yeah. So the fact that those 2 shows were really able to grab me and drag me in, I was like, hell yeah, let's do this. You're shaking your head, but you haven't watched either of those shows yet, so you don't know. But yeah, as far as content wise, I don't know. Oh, we saw The Matrix.
Yeah. That was really good. I really liked it.
I don't know. I haven't rated it on Letterboxd or anything.
I know you're behind.
Dude, I'm way behind, like half a year behind. I give it a solid 4 stars. It's kind of weird because I had to go redo all my reviews because I realized I was being too generous. Like, to me, a typical average good movie was 4 stars.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a real mixed batch of films in the 4-star category. So I really had to go move it around.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'd give Matrix Resurrections 4 out of 5 stars. I think a lot of the people complaining about it online, they were expecting an action movie,
Mm-hmm.
and the Matrix trilogy was always more than just an action movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I like that this one was different. This was much more of a love story. And I mean, supposedly it's the last, especially since this movie made $0, essentially, not literally, but it basically did terribly at the box office because we're in a freaking pandemic.
Yeah.
And it was released on streaming at the same time. So if this is the last we get of The Matrix, I'm fine with it. I liked it. So what did you think about it?
I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. I like its critique on the Matrix franchise itself, you know, and how they sort of build that into the story, you know, and it's like, yeah, like them calling it out also like made me rethink like, oh yeah, like I guess I was sort of going in expecting like, oh, the next bullet time, you know, or something like that.
Right, right.
Like at every turn, that's not what this movie was about. You know, it was sort of like reckoning with that history. And how that history or how that legacy has sort of been like commodified by, you know, people with agendas ulterior to the original intent, you know. That's like literally the villain is like is everything that the first Matrix trilogy was like trying to avoid, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought it was really good. Like and yeah, there were parts that, you know, I felt like could have been stronger. Definitely think the action could have been handled a little bit better. But yeah, I think just in terms of like having at least one of the original creators come back, you know, to take this on and, you know, tackle a subject that they felt very personally about, and they got to tell an end to their story. Yeah, I really liked that. I really thought that was the best move, and it's miles better than whatever Warner Brothers was probably going to try and feed us anyway. So
yeah,
because they were going to make this movie with or without, you know, Lena Wachowski, and
yeah. And I like how it's very meta because I mean you have to read about the behind the scenes. This is nowhere in the movie, but I believe the origins of the story was like inspired by the death of the Wachowskis' parents.
Yeah.
What's really interesting is that okay, so it's Lana and Lily Wachowski. So Lana directed it. What's really interesting is that Lily didn't want to come back for this film because of the exact same reasons. Like I'm trying to remember. I think if I don't want to say something that's not true. If I remember what I read, I think their parents were sick or they got sick around the time of the original movies. So I think that's one of the reasons why Lily didn't want to come back, because it was bringing back all those old memories. Whereas Lana was the opposite. She wanted to bring back Neo and Trinity in kind of a way, a tribute to her parents, but also a way to like fulfill that circle, you know, close that circle. So just knowing that going in, I was expecting like a love story, and that's what I got. Yeah. And I wasn't disappointed. I was disappointed in the action, which still good, but it's not, it's a fraction of what the original movies were, you know, as far as action goes. So yeah, my only real complaint is Morpheus. I really wanted more Morpheus. I think that was a cool thread they didn't pull on enough. I was like, damn. But
Mhm.
other than that, it was solid. I really liked it.
Yeah, I know that they don't want to do anymore,
Mhm.
but I feel like this would be a really cool this would maybe be a really cool jumping off point for them to do like an anime.
Kind
Kind
of
of
like they
like
did
what they were
before.
doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, with the animatrix,
Mhm.
but I would say like this time like just do like you could, I mean, we have series on Netflix like Love Death
Yeah.
and Robots, like they're exploring like these interesting heady concepts, and
Mhm.
like different animators doing that stuff. Star Wars Visions did that on Disney Plus
Oh
with the
yeah.
Star Wars
Yeah.
universe. Like I would say that like just keep going, like give us like a couple of episodes, a few seasons, invite filmmakers and animators and
Mhm.
writers, like people who really want to play in this world, because I feel like there's a lot of ground that they tried to cover.
Yeah.
I thought it was great, but I feel like it also left like a lot of avenues to sort of explore.
It was
um
really like a lot of this movie is world building, which really
yeah,
surprised me. It's
yeah.
like they built a whole new world and like lore for this movie.
Hmm.
Um, and I love that. I was like, wow. So they could easily do more. Um, I, again, yeah, like we said, I don't think they're going to do another movie, but give us some TV shows or some animated stuff. I think that'd be
Hmm.
cool.
I think that'd be cool.
Yeah. But I think that's it as far as content I've been consuming this
Hmm.
holiday season. Right? Did you leave anything out or no?
No, no, I can't
I,
talk about No Way Home because you haven't watched it,
oh
so.
God, I know, man. Sorry, I'm trying to be a responsible person and not go to the movie theaters.
Hmm.
Stupid Disney. I love you. Give me a job.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. Um, yeah. Well, I gotta say, man, watching Lost, like it was really nice. Like I missed it.
Hmm.
Uh, uh, yeah. That's it. I mean, I missed it. So today we're talking about season 3, episode 4,
Hmm.
Every Man for Himself. Sawyer discovers how far his captors will go to thwart. Did I put that
Wart.
thwart? Did I put that word in this description? Sawyer discovers how far his captors will go to thwart his and Kate's escape plans. Meanwhile, Jack must scrub up to save an other's life.
No, I'm gonna have to correct you, and it's thwart. Yeah, it's gonna be thwart from now on.
Thwart,
Thwart.
thwart. Look, you put the th together alone is trouble. Then you add a w to that. No, no. English language is stupid.
The English language is like four languages stacked on top of each other wearing a trench coat.
Uh huh.
That's just what
It's
it is.
stupid, and it's one of the most difficult languages to learn.
Yep.
And you would think, knowing it since like birth and learning it since we were very little, you think we would be good at it, but no,
No.
we're not. Oh God. So what did you think about this episode?
um
Did it thwart your expectations?
yes, it did. It thwarted my expectations. Um
I had to thwart
yeah,
once. I had to get it removed.
it's
You
gross.
burned them off, I think.
I've never no or freeze them off actually.
Oh, ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's painful. Don't recommend it. Um yeah, I was expecting like, okay, we're gonna, it's episode 4, like, yeah, we're gonna maybe, it's not gonna be a slog or anything, but it's gonna be, it's gonna be a lost episode. We'll find something out. uh One of the best episodes so far. I know we're only 4 episodes into this, but holy crap.
Well, I was thinking I was probably like halfway through this episode, and I remember thinking like, I think this is one of the best episodes of the series so far.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just the range of emotions they bring us through in this episode is
Mm-hmm.
wild.
Mm-hmm. Like even Sawyer's flashback, I feel like, yeah, like this isn't, I don't think it's doing anything new, but I do like seeing, I don't know, maybe I just like seeing Josh Holloway in these different, scenarios now.
Right, right.
And, getting to see like how Sawyer's mind works, and
Mm-hmm.
how he comes to the decisions that he comes to. So like while I don't think anything is going to come out of um his, it feels like B plot, but really it kind of feels more like C plot.
What the flashbacks?
Yeah, the flashbacks.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't think anything's gonna come like to fruition from that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I liked seeing him in those scenes, and
Yeah,
again, seeing like how his brain works and how he
yeah,
makes his decisions.
yeah, yeah. And I think we've talked about in the past how the flashbacks are either relevant to the episode or not relevant to the episode. But it being relevant doesn't mean it's automatically good.
Yeah.
And I think that's very interesting this season because we just got the Locke episode, the flashbacks on like
Mm-hmm.
the commune, the farm, the pot farm. And it really didn't pay like it wasn't really relevant to his story on the island right now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, oh, that's an interesting Locke story. Like
Mm-hmm.
it didn't add anything new, but it kind of reinforced like, okay, I think we mentioned like toxic masculinity and stuff like he really wants to be the hunter, that kind
Mm-hmm.
of person, but he's not. So it kind of went through that. It was all right flashback. Sawyer's this episode has nothing to do with the episode.
Mm-hmm.
It really doesn't change anything about him or the character, but the knowledge we get of him having a daughter, it's like, oh, okay, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's going to pay off or not, but
Mm-hmm.
the flashbacks were done well, and that's why I cared about it, you know. And it has Bill Duke.
Yeah.
When he
Yeah.
came out, I was like, oh,
I eat green berets like you for breakfast.
oh man,
I was expecting him to get out his little crappy like dollar store razor and just keep shaving as he's talking to Sawyer.
Yeah. But we did see the return of was her name Madison? Or did I just make that up?
I think you made that up.
Oh, I don't know. But essentially the woman he fell in love with but still ended up conning in his last flashback we got last season.
Mm-hmm.
She comes back, visits him in jail. We find out she's the one who put him there.
Mm-hmm.
She like sues him. But we find out that he has a daughter in Arizona, right?
Yeah, they're living in Arizona.
Named Clementine.
Do you think that's well? I guess I can't ask you because you've seen the show, but I don't think she's real.
Maybe
I just don't like. Maybe I'm just distrusting of anybody in Sawyer's episodes. Like
that's very true.
Person,
mm-hmm.
Like the fact that like he fell in love with her and he still conned her. It's like that sucks, but. I don't know. I think she would have the gall now to just be like, you have a daughter. Like that photo was stock. That's a stock baby right there. What's a stock baby
look like
photo?
Every other baby I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's like, it's just a big, cute pudgy face with big old blue eyes and little strands of blonde hair. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Oh man. Yeah, we'll see. But it is, interesting. He essentially cons his way out of prison and he gets an unmentioned amount of money, but he puts it under a bank account in Arizona under Clementine.
Mm-hmm.
See, so I don't know how that works bank wise. I don't know if the mom can access it or the named person Clementine would have to come of age. Like I don't know how that works.
Mm-hmm.
That probably had to deal something in the deal they made.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if you, the parent, is setting up the account,
Yeah.
then you have access to it, to pull or take from it.
So in this case,
until your child comes of age. So in this case, if because he's creating the account for her, I think he's the only other person that would have access to it, not her mom.
well, yeah, he even told like
I
the
don't know.
FBI guy though, he's like, they're the ones making it. It's like I don't want there to be any trace that it came from me. So
Okay.
so I don't know if the mom would have access to that money or not.
Mhm.
And it's never even mentioned that she knows about that money, you know?
Mhm.
So
Mhm. Oh yeah, no, I don't think she I don't think she knows about that money. I just think she's just trying to con Sawyer for anything, you know. Because she
interesting.
didn't get anything, you know. She sued him and he went to prison. Like that's
Yeah.
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 So far as we know. So
Yeah. So what's going on the island this episode?
lots of crazy stuff. Lots of crazy stuff. Let's talk about Desmond for a second.
Okay, yeah, Desmond had a very small little role, but coming off of, the last previous episodes, it seems like he's still, I don't know, seeing the future, getting premonitions. He's really adamant about fixing Claire's tent and he wants her to move. So he'll fix it. And Charlie comes in and is like, no, I'm a man. I can do it. Blah, blah, blah. I protect. He's like, all right, suit yourself. So Desmond makes some kind of weird contraption out of with a golf club, which we gotta mention him. He gets from Paolo. Yeah, forgot his name already. In one little scene, who's apparently been with the group this whole time.
So I'm sorry, writers. As far as you guys are going to like try and immerse to say these people have always been there, I don't believe it for 1 second.
You see, if it turns out that like Nikki and Paolo were others, it's like, oh, that makes sense because I've never seen them before.
Exactly.
Like, that's what they should have been doing with Ethan. They should have had him there from the start. God, it's stupid.
We should have been writing the show. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Of course, it's all in hindsight, so we got that advantage, but whatever. Yeah, so anyway, he makes this contraption and he's talking to Hurley. He's like, hey, wait, check this out. Well, Hurley eats what looks like a delicious fruit salad.
I know.
I was like, wow. Wow, that looks really good.
Hugo, let me get some of that.
Yeah. So lightning strikes and it hits the golf club and the whole like contraption falls. And Desmond's like, yeah. And Charlie gives him a look like,
well, because he builds it and he builds it like super close to Claire and Charlie's tent.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking about it, like if he didn't build this, the lightning that came down, it would have struck the tent.
Yeah.
So it's the fact that like he built like, yeah, because like it looks awkward and it doesn't like, I don't know the geography of the camp, but it doesn't look like it's centered to the camp. It's just kind of in like an open space. So he builds it, lightning strikes and it hits the thing, and then you're like, oh, okay. And yeah, he just looks. I'm so excited. He just looks and he's like, I can't even describe the look he has. It's like intentful, and he's like, yeah, I know.
It worked.
That happened. It worked.
It's like work.
Yeah, I'm terrified. So
and Charlie kind of gives him a look too, like kind of like he knows what's up, where he's like, Desmond's onto something. Yeah.
Maybe it was all wrong. Maybe Charles Xavier isn't John Locke.
It's Desmond. Well, I guess we're gonna have to find out, because like that's already 2 episodes now that they've been teasing something weird's going on with Desmond. So we'll see. Meanwhile, back on the other island.
Whoa, hang on. You just threw that out there. That's not any way to talk about that. What the hell is wrong with you?
Well, I don't know. Do we want to like sum up the whole thing before we get there?
Well, that was like, doesn't matter now. Yeah,
it doesn't matter now. But yeah, that was like the big twist from this episode. You know, see, this is what happens when I try not to sum up stuff. I just got to throw it out there, you know.
And me, I'm just like, no, we'll gradually lead to that. Like the episode did. No, I guess you're right. No, okay, screw it. Yeah, there's 2 islands.
There's 2 freaking islands.
Which again is another thing I knew, but this was really cool because it was like, oh, this is how, because I thought, what's his name? Ben. I thought Ben was leading Sawyer up the mountain to like survey like where they were, you know, kind of like that shot from the first episode.
Oh, where you see like the camp and stuff.
Yeah, where we see the camp and stuff. I thought it was gonna be like, oh yeah, we're going here. Like, look at this land, Sawyer. You know, this is I don't know, beautiful or whatever. Like, I don't know, whatever evil villain crap he was gonna say. No, it turns like he's showing him the other island. That way, you know, there's nowhere to run. Like,
yeah. This whole episode was about breaking Sawyer. And I wouldn't say that they broke him, but like he has a better understanding of his situation now.
Yeah. They did convince him that he had a pacemaker. So like,
yeah. So, and man, things got dark. Because they do like, they knock him out and they give him like some kind of surgery, and it doesn't look like they know what they're doing, and blah, blah, blah. But then it's revealed that like, oh, we put a pacemaker in you, so you have to keep your heart rate down. Which, that just made me uncomfortable, man. I was like, oh my God. Although for Sawyer being such a smart guy, he should have figured it out. Because one, they killed the bunny like right on top of him. I'm like, was he just calm that whole time? I'm like, all right. His watch goes crazy when he's watching Kate change, and he's like, oh, I guess throw water on himself. He's like, put some clothes on, will you? But the main thing is, we'll kind of get back to this in a little bit, but essentially he gets the crap beat out of him, and the watch didn't go off once. I was like, wow, really? That's what I would have figured out. Like, you know, you can crap, like that was a brutal beatdown that Sawyer got this episode, several times this episode, and watch didn't beat at all. I was like, okay, that's weird.
Oh yeah, I guess it didn't.
Well, actually, that's probably just a technical snafu, I guess.
Yeah.
From like a show point, because realistically, he still would have beeped. It just, his heart wouldn't have exploded.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess plot hole, whatever. It's still really solid, and it was very kind of traumatizing feeling. But I just edited the first episode from this season, and I remember us talking about the talk that Ben gives Kate. Kate, these next 2 weeks will not be very nice, or whatever he says. I'm like, so far it's not that bad. Like, they're playing mind games, but also it's only been like 2 days.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. It was, they really tried to break Sawyer. And I think the fact that he didn't really break, like he was falling in line. He wasn't trying to escape. He even tried to, he told basically Kate just to leave him because she finds out conveniently she can fit through the bars and the cages. He tells her to go on without him. Like I'm kind of curious of the Ben's like thinking. Like, why did he decide to show Sawyer the second island after he already supposedly put the pacemaker in him?
I know. Well, like, I guess his decision is to sort of, or his thing is to like, look, like, you know, Sawyer, I also feel like they're still underestimating Sawyer, but the whole point of this was that, they needed to know how to con a con man, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, like that was the point of the pacemaker.
Mm-hmm.
And so the fact that he is showing him the island at the end is just maybe just to say like, yeah, like it really doesn't matter. If you run, we know where you are. Like we'll find you, stuff like that. Like, so, I guess it kind of like how we were talking earlier about the expanse and like wanting hope and instilling hope. This is taking away that hope.
Right.
Basically just saying like, it doesn't matter what you do. Like, this is it.
And I was going to say the opposite. I think the opposite of them underestimating him. I think revealing the second island and revealing that the pacemaker was fake. I think that's a step towards not underestimating him, like understanding him. Like we don't have to trick him. Like we just need to show him the truth. Because that's how this episode ends. They essentially reveal the truth to him, and the truth is enough to like make him stop. At least so far. At least what we've seen so far in the show. Because there really is no hope to escape. So he's like, we'll just show him, and it works. So I don't know, and I do like how he's quoting of Mice and Men, and it kind of catches Ben off guard. But then he quotes Mice and Men right back at him, and he doesn't get the reference. So I don't know. I think it's a little further along the process to realize they're realizing, hey, there's more to this guy than we thought. But we've yet to see what comes of that.
It's almost like there's more to this guy than we thought, but not much more.
Yeah.
Can I just say, I was mad at Kate this episode.
Okay, you tell me why?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you why. Because she got upset at Sawyer. She's like, how come you didn't fight back? How come you did? Like, one, that dude like pulled him out of his cage and like surprised the hell out of him. And he seems like he hits pretty hard.
Yeah. He was in his head against those bars, man.
Yeah. Like that's, so it's like, so on that score alone, I'm like, all right, Kate, calm down. But then the only reason that guy stops is because, when he's asking Kate, like, do you love this man? Bam, do you love this man? It's just like, I love him. And then he stops. And then what does Kate say, to like get back at Sawyer for him just sort of like, like he's not reciprocating anymore. Like he thinks he has the pacemaker in him, all this stuff. Like he doesn't want her to escape, and then he's telling her to leave. And then she says, I only told him I love you so that he'd stop.
Yeah. Damn. Stab to the heart.
Stop this.
Caitlin. Yeah. I mean, I see where she's coming from though, because like he's acting very out of character. They really spooked him with that pacemaker. And not even that, they spooked him when they threatened Kate. You see, he never brought that up to her.
Yeah.
He didn't bring up anything to her, but that's what really got to him when they threatened Kate. So like, I get it. It in a way, it seems like he's giving up. It just seems like a very un-Sawyer thing to do. It's because the others, they're getting to him. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting too, because they even talk about, we don't even know if Jack's alive. So, I mean, it's the theme of this episode. It's every man for himself. And she's probably really starting to feel alone. Except when Sawyer brings that up, what does she tell him? Live together, die alone. I was like, yes, call back to season 1 and 2, pretty much all of Lost. And I was like, hell yeah. So I think she's in a good headspace right now. She just doesn't understand what's going on. None of those 3 main cast members really know what's going on right now.
I'm still upset.
Yeah. Speaking of which, let's talk about the B plot. I guess it's B plot with Jack, because that ties directly to why Sawyer was getting beat by a man named Pickett. Who chooses these names? You think that's like his last name?
Yeah, because his first name is Daniel.
Daniel Pickett? I guess. Do you think Clue got to name herself?
Probably.
What was that her name?
This will come in handy later.
Rhonda Clue.
Okay.
Yeah. Her cubicle's right next to Edward Nigma. You know? Enigma. A mystery. Wow. Oh, Batman Forever.
Good movie. Still a good movie.
I'm not going to agree, but I'm not going to disagree either.
It's a solid 3 stars. And for me, 3 stars is a perfectly average movie.
Yeah, that's the way average should be. That's why I had to redo my whole letterbox.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Colleen's dead. She's the other who son accidentally shot. But Juliet pulls Jack out of his cell to help Colleen. And it was too late. He even says like she was dead before she got to the table. Like he couldn't save her. And it was a cool moment. I like seeing Jack because like he changed the second they pulled the hood off of him and he sees what's going on. He doesn't have scrubs, but he's washing his hands. He's scrubbing up. He's going in. He's going to do what he does. You know, he's in hero doctor mode. I was like, yeah, Jack, that's the Jack I want to see. Doesn't matter who she is. You know, he has a chance to save her life. He's going to take it. It just doesn't work. But yeah, I really like that. I really like seeing that side of Jack. I like seeing this side of Juliet because we've seen her vulnerable here. She even said, what did she say her job was? Like
she's a maternity doctor.
Maternity doctor, yeah. So she doesn't really deal with surgeries and death. So yeah,
which I guess like we as the audience could have suspected, like at that moment have been like, well, that moment and the surgery scene itself to be like, oh, okay. Why did they need to bring Jack in if they just gave a pacemaker to this dude? Like, that's not a simple operation. Like,
right.
Oh, okay. Like they're obviously bluffing. Like we should, I was just thinking about that. Like when we started talking about the pacemaker thing earlier, and I was like, hey, wait a minute. They had to bring Jack in. Like, so obvious. They're not good. They don't have those skills.
Yeah. I even like when he says, get the crash cart. And she says, it doesn't work. Oh, crap. Where are they? Oh, man. Yeah. And Julia said, like, nothing's ever happened like this. So it's like, so we're what's really interesting about this season is like, we're getting a lot of answers. We're getting a lot more info. It's just very subtle. You know, it's little things like that. The fact that they didn't have the right tools to save this woman. It's like, okay, that's kind of building the world out a little bit. So, but then Jack, he sees the x-rays to someone with some kind of like spinal something.
It's like a
disease or
it's a tumor that's growing on the spine.
Yeah. And he's like, why don't you tell me who I'm here to fix? And that's the last we see of Jack this episode. Like he figures it out. He's like, I know, why y'all pulled me. It's because I'm a surgeon. It's like, oh crap. All right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, unless there's any other like bombshells that I forgot about, that's pretty much the episode.
I just want to clarify. There are 2 islands.
2 dose.
That's insane.
Dual islands.
When we got to the end of the episode, I was like, oh, holy crap. Oh my God. And I'm just like, what does this mean?
Mm-hmm.
What does this mean? How are they gonna feel about it if, when everybody else finds out that there's two islands,
Right.
And so the island that we're not on, that's where the oceanic survivors are.
Yeah, the big one.
Okay.
Yeah. So all the stuff with the others is on a smaller island right now.
Wait a sec. How does that work? How did Ethan and the other guy get to the what? That doesn't. Ben did say they have a sub.
Well, okay. Well, I was gonna bring that up, but before we get into
that they had a sub. Yeah.
Before we get into that, Ben tells Sawyer the island they're on right now is roughly twice the size as Alcatraz.
Mm-hmm.
Alcatraz ain't that big. Like it fits in the Bay of San Francisco.
Yeah.
So they're not on the island. Because remember the first episode, we see the community.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way that's on the smaller island. It's too big.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. So they have to have a means to travel from island to island.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's what Ben mentions to Juliet. He said, the sub is back. I'm sorry, the what? You're either talking about a replacement teacher or a sandwich. You couldn't possibly be talking about a boat that goes underwater, right?
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
Yeah, totally.
The sub is back and we have a situation. What?
I'm upset. Who the hell are these guys? They have boats. They have a freaking, sounds like they have like a freighter or something that Michael and Walt, drove off to.
Freighter? What?
Yeah, they have like a or a tanker or something. They have a larger boat. And that's how they're gonna get Walt and Michael off the island.
No, he just gave them the coordinates to take off on the little boat. He says something like if you take these two coordinates or whatever else, what I'm trying to remember what he says. If you take these coordinates, it'll get you to where a ship can find you or something like that. Because the way I took it, like Ben wiped his hands after that. Like he gave him his kid and he gave him a boat, and that was it. And the coordinates or whatever he needed to leave.
Okay.
But yeah, like,
did I just make that up then? Did I just make up that they have a freighter?
I don't know. Like
okay. Huh.
I don't remember hearing anything about a freighter.
Okay.
So
well, anyway, it's like, okay, regardless of that, we can cut around that. They have boats.
This is gonna be a short episode, Sam.
All the cutting we're doing, all the cutting we got to do. It's gonna be short. Hey, we love the episode. All right, see you later. Not even time for the theme song. Yeah. So they have boats. They have weird like taser things.
Yeah.
They have all these supplies,
and then they have cartoons.
Cable. Yeah, they have cable and cartoons. Like, what the hell? They had like a zoo apparently until the polar bears ran off, and now they have freaking submarines.
Yeah.
Hate these people. I hate these people. I don't like any of them.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I don't like them.
Yeah. So as far as this today's episode, who's your MVP?
Yeah, I'll give it to Sawyer.
Yeah, Jess Holloway, definitely.
Yeah, he did good. Like this definitely wasn't like a dark turn like his last episode was.
Yeah.
Last season. But yeah, this was still really good. It was really solid. You could see his walls breaking down throughout the episode, and I thought that was really cool.
Mm-hmm. Man, I mean, as far as I don't know who would be my choice. I mean, I guess Michael Emerson.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because Ben was pretty. He was pretty scary. He was pretty creepy this episode.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm gonna give it to him.
Is that the first time we've given it to Michael Emerson?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure he got it for playing Henry at least once or twice. But I think this is the first time we've given it to him as Ben.
Okay.
because Henry he was a pretty creepy and interesting character. He definitely stole every scene he was in. But we've only gotten a glimpse of him as Ben here, and yeah, I think we're starting to get more and more into like who the hell is this guy? He's just creeping me out, man. I have no segue. Speaking of creeping you out, I don't know if you'll be creeped out by the next episode or not. Who knows? We'll see. Because next time we're talking about season 3, episode 5, the cost of living. Searching for a way to save their friends, Locke leads the survivors to the Pearl Station. Meanwhile, Mr. Echo faces demons from his past.
Ooh.
Now, if I remember correctly, the Pearl is the one with all the video cameras, right? The computers.
Yeah, the video cameras. Yeah,
the one that him and Echo found. Okay. Okay. All right. So he's leading the other survivors to the Pearl. Interesting. Cool. Yeah, I mean, that's about it. It's a pretty solid episode. I loved it. Oh, I did ask you this before we finished. I said if we could rate seasons 1 and 2 out of 5 stars, what would you give them? Just because I've been like reading movie reviews and rating stuff, I'm like, what would I give these 2 seasons?
Okay, let's see.
We'll start at the beginning, season 1.
Okay. I would. I'd give season 1 4 stars.
Okay, agreed. Me too. It's well above an average show. It's not perfect though.
Yeah, it's not perfect, but I do think it's well above an average show. One, especially for that era, but also kind of now. You don't see anything like Lost nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this show has aged really well, at least what we've seen so far. And I think it kind of aged better because we're in a binge culture now. And I think there's a lot to get from this show as you binge it. It works better binging it than it does week by week. Yeah, I'd give it 4 stars. I was tempted maybe 4.5 at some points, but we did have some issues with season 1. So I'll give it 4. Yeah. Now, here's going to be the interesting one. Season 2.
I'm going to give season 2 3.5 stars.
3.5? I think I'm going to go 3.
Because for me, like, I feel like in a lot of ways it was better than season 1.
Okay.
I feel like they got for the most part, they had a better handle on the flashbacks. They did have, or at least like I really liked a lot of the character journeys that were going on. Lots of twists and turns going on. Definitely like, it's definitely elevated for like a primetime, TV drama. That was really cool. Really liked it. I do think there were a lot of problems though that held it back. And also that like slog that we hit, and then it was just like, man, this is bumming me out. I'm not enjoying this. But I still feel like it's not as good as the first season, but in all of the elements where it's stronger.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, I'll meet you there. I'll meet you halfway. We'll say 3.5 stars for season 2. Okay, cool. All right. Well, we'll get back to you in a year or whatever, whenever we finish season 3. So, So as always, guys, thanks for joining us. If you've got any questions for us about life, love, happiness, or Lost, just shoot them at #LostLegacies. And we'll find it.
Or even if you got some funny memes, funny non-spoilery Lost memes.
That's true. No spoilers. But
yeah, please do your best. Day. No spoilers. Yeah, we'd love it. We'd appreciate it. Yeah, just hit us up at hashtag Lost Legacies.
Yep. And as always, you can find me at Twitter at _Matt Jimenez and on Netflix. Oh, Netflix. Oh, God, I'm tired. And on Netflix at here's my login email and password.
Wow. And see a lot of profiles popping up really quick.
Dude, I'm so hungry. What's the other one? Instagram at Holy Hand Grenade of Antioch. It's because I mentioned this earlier. That's why it threw me off. Catch me on Netflix one day.
one day, yeah. Yeah, you won't find me on Netflix, but you will find me on Twitter and Instagram at Reel, that's REEL, Texas Weirdo.
Okay, guys. Until next time, get lost.
Get lost.